My name is Eric Lee, and I am the editor of Labor Start. I want to talk about Iran today, but I want to start with a lesson from history. In 1933, shortly after Hitler came to power, he crushed the German trade union movement and set up a state-controlled labor front instead. Only a few days after, his thugs seized control of union buildings and jailed trade unionists, the International Labour Conference convened in Geneva. This conference, which is the decision-making body of the International Labour Organization, the ILO, is filled with representatives of governments, employers, and trade unions. That year, the Germans arrived with a delegation from that newly created State Labour Front. The international trade union movement united to fight against this, while governments, including the British government, had no objection to Hitler's Nazis being seated at the conference. The trade unionists blocked the seating of the so-called worker delegates from Germany. As the leader of the French trade union said at the time, jailers never have the right to represent prisoners. The entire German delegation was forced to return to Berlin, and the country withdrew from the ILO later that year. Which brings me to Iran. The ILO still exists. The International Labour Conference still convenes every June in Geneva. And every year, the clerical fascist regime in Iran sends a delegation of so-called workers' representatives to take their seats as part of the workers' group. These delegates do not represent the workers, they represent the regime. They are today, as were the German delegates back in 1933, jailers being given the right to represent prisoners. This cannot continue. The world's trade unions must demand that the Iranian regime free all political prisoners and recognize the rights of workers to join and form trade unions of their own choosing, to strike, and to bargain collectively. Until that happens, that regime must not be given legitimacy, and its so-called worker representatives must be turned away. Long live international labor solidarity. Long live